Alright, what's up guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, guys, that's right, you see it on the screen. We're going to be going over my first place blue-black Sakazuki deck. This was at about a 20-player local. But we had some good talent there. We had some good players there, and I'll go over the matchups, in just a little bit. So this is going to be a deck review style video. Just to give you guys a heads up, we're going to go over the deck that I used, the choices the reason that I went with the choices I did with the cards, because we do have a lot to talk about there. And notice there's no Sabo, and we will go over like a little tutorial towards the end of the video talking about like cards I would consider staple, and then cards that are kind of more player preference or preferential depending on like what you think you're going to go against in your local meta. So okay guys, let's just go ahead and dive straight into this. Let's just go ahead and start. I'll start top left and go down the bottom right. So we got 4 Hound Blazes, 4 Rob Lucci, 2 of the blue Borsellino, the 7-cost Borsellino, 2 Kaido. This is just my Dawn, my Dice, and my leader. I'll explain these real quick. This is a Davidson TCG custom leader. This is not like an alt art. These are just, I don't know where I got these dice, but maybe, actually, I know I'll have to look it up. I'll have to link this sometime where I get these dice from, because I've got like a whole lot of all kinds of different really cool dice. And then the Dawn down here, these are just Magic the Gathering cards, Magic the Gathering lands, that I put in a Your Turn plus 1,000 at the bottom of. That's it. Okay, so I did kind of make these myself, just putting them over a Magic card. Okay, then we got 4 Great Eruptions, 2 Ice Age, 4 Hinas, 4 Kuzan, 4 Borsellino, 8 2K counters, it's Tashigi and Suru, 2 Moncherie, 4 brand new, 2 of the blue Hinas, and then 4 Rebecca. So very standard list. This list is not spicy, and let me also explain that this is the 3rd time I've ever played blue-black Sakazuki at a locals. Because you guys, for those who follow the channel, you already know I like to play black-yellow Linlin. I like to play all these other crazy different decks that no one plays. I enjoy the challenge. I just enjoy the challenge. But I have played Sakazuki 2 other times before this at a locals, at pretty decent sized locals. I think they were both 20 players each, and that's kind of what we average here where I live, like in the local gaming stores around me. Anywhere from like 20 to 25 players is, I feel like that's a pretty average turnout at the stores that I go to, which is nice, right? That's a good competition. That's a good night. What was I going to say? Oh. With this list here, this is the only time I ever ran this list. The 2 lists that I ran before were identical, and I was not running Kaidos. I don't think I was running the Hinas either down here. I think I was running 4 Sanjis pull off, and a few other really, like, I think I was even running like 12 2K counters. Like, the deck was kind of all over the place. I was just trying stuff out. But then this list here, I kind of got this inspiration, like my inspiration for this list, I should say it like that, is from all the Nationals Sakazuki decks that are going out right now. The only thing that I just could not do that most people are doing is run the Sabos. That's just me personally. And I'll go into more detail on that a little bit later in the video. So these are my matches real quick. Let me get through my matchups. Excuse me. Game 1, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that one. That is the one game where it was kind of like, okay, not the best competition. It was like a younger player. He was a new player at the store, so that's cool, right? It's cool to go against newer players and see that the game is growing. But it was really unfortunate that this kid, he must have been like 12 or 13 years old. I don't know exactly how old he was. He had to go against me on the night I'm running blue-black Sakazuki. Like, of all nights, this kid must be so unlucky. I don't know. But he's running against me. Like, you guys see the list. I'm running a full decked out blue-black Sakazuki list, and he's running an out-of-the-box red-purple law deck. So we're not going to talk much about that game. That was a win, and it was closer than it needed to be. I think I still won the game, I think, with 2 life left, but it was closer than it needed to be, because I don't think I ever got a Lucci. Or maybe I had 1 life left. Like I said, I didn't get a Lucci until like turn 5 or 6. But who knows? The kid's probably going to be really good one day, starting as young as he is, so that's always good to see new players. Okay, game 2. This was against a very competent player. So we're 1-0 at this point, me and this player. Very good. He's a very good player, very experienced. I've seen him at the, he's always at the shop. He's been playing One Piece and just like games like Magic the Gathering, just all kinds of different TCGs for years. Very experienced player. And honestly, guys, I think this game came down to an Ice Age trigger. Like, I honestly think, because Red Purple Law can get pretty aggressive. For those who don't know, Red Purple Law can be very, very aggressive. And I got a very well-timed Ice Age proc from Life. Like Life Trigger Ice Age, which KOs a 3 or less. I was able to clip his Zoro before it could swing. Huge. You know, everything lined up just perfectly because you can't, you know, there's not many targets you can hit in Red Purple's deck list because a lot of them are 4-cost cards. So hitting the Zoro on the turn he played it before it could swing, or well, I don't know if it was the turn he played, I can't remember that far back, but whatever the case was, hitting the Zoro was just massive. So that really gave me a big advantage, and it kind of snowballed from there. You could just tell. Okay, so that game went really well, and I also drew plenty of Lucci's that game, which was very nice. I think I drew 2 Lucci's. That was a wrap. You know, the game was it was a good game for me. Game 3, against Purple Luffy, you just kind of have to keep the gas on, because if you don't, then they're going to draw from their life and ramp. You guys know how it works. So as long as you can keep up, like I call it, like I have hard push on here, like it should just say like, you know, big pressure, however you want to say it. If you can keep enough strong pressure on them and just play correctly, removing what you can adequately and making correct blocking decisions and things like that, playing around 9-cost Kaidos to the best of your ability, you guys know what I'm trying to say, then you should be pretty good. But yeah, very good player that I played against here. Again, kind of like the player before, where he's like, he played Magic the Gathering for many years. I think he's even sponsored at the store we're at. Very good, like for Magic, that is. But he started playing One Piece, I think about 2 sets ago now, or like right at the end of OP04 or something like that, where he's pretty experienced now. He knows what he's doing. Very fundamentally sound player. He's just still kind of learning a few things about One Piece. But you know, I don't think you'd be able to notice that if you played against him, kind of thing. Just, I only know that because I talked to him. you know what I mean. Very good player though. He kicked butt. You know, we were all, you know, we were 2-0 going into this round, right? Purple Luffy though too. Another thing, does not have the greatest matchup in a blue-black Sakazuki. That's kind of well known. As long as you're playing around their 7-cost, or I keep saying that, their 4-cost Trafalgar Law, that makes you trash 2 cards if you have 7 or more in hand. Make sure you're playing around that card, and make sure you're just always battling for board, and you should do pretty well into Purple Luffy most of the time. So you have a very good matchup into Purple Luffy. Okay, and the final matchup of the night. This one's the most interesting. This is against one of the local players. This is against one of the local players you'll hear me and Joey talk about all the time. His name's Mark. He is a really, really solid judge in the community. He goes to nationals to judge. He goes to regionals to judge. He's very well known, like in the judging community, and he's just an extremely competent player, just an extremely good player. And this Uda deck, for those who don't know, at the time of me recording this video, remember the locals I went to was last night, and right after that, I mean, I think there was a tournament last night as well, right? That was for the Japanese regionals, and in that tournament, if I'm not mistaken, Uda won. Uda won the entire thing. And this was for OP06.5 or whatever their technical meta they're in right now. Because I think they're about to be in 7. They're about to be in OP07 in about a month. Or I think a little less than a month, actually. But anyway, this deck is very strong. And like this deck is, you know, this deck can compete. This is a competitive deck. And to put things in perspective, before me, Mark, the player who was piloting this deck, beat Joey from Heart Pirates TCG, who was running Blue-Black Sakazuki, and Sean, he beat before him, another player at our locals, who mains Blue-Black Sakazuki. So this was like the Saka Slayer deck of the night, and it looked like I was up next for it. You know, where it was like, you know, I looked down the table, I'm like, what are you guys doing down there with Sakazuki? Because they're always at the top tables with Blue-Black Sakazuki. They're like, well, you know, we both just played against the player you're about to play against. You know, it was just friendly banter going on. You know, they were like, so good luck. He has a really strong matchup against Sakazuki. And you guys know how that does. You know, at that point, it's like, okay, well, then now I got to defend the honor of my bros here, right? You know, I've got to beat him now. But I drew really well, is the truth to it. The player, like I said, that I was going against, he's like the judge of all of our local tournaments and tons of regionals and tons of, you know, and he was there at nationals as well. I had to be on my A game, and I did get some love from the top of the deck, right? Like I was drawing fire, absolute fireballs against poor Mark. And, you know, that's appropriate, right? I am running Sakazuki. It was just pure Meteor Volcano like the entire game, or Great Eruptions, whatever it is. And I did. I think I drew all 4 Great Eruptions against him, got into my removal, got into 2 or 3 Luccis. It was just nasty. The best I had ever drawn. I'll say that right now, you know. So that was a situation where I do think that Uda actually has a, I mean, dare I say it, I think Uda actually has probably a favorable matchup against Sakazuki if they don't see enough removal, namely the Luccis, you know, namely Lucci. So that was a really good game, though. I don't think either of us made any play mistakes. It was just a simple matter of I drew hotter than he did, and he got 2 whiffs on his Uda search, and he only runs 10 non-film cards. So, you know, it was one of those situations where, you know, praise the Lord, I drew better than he did. It is what it is. That's cards sometimes, right? That is sometimes that is what it is. Unfortunately, there's always going to be some type of little factor like that, a potential like that when it comes to cards. Okay, well, that was it for the matchups. Now going into like the breakdown, and if you guys have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask in the comment section below. You guys know I can talk all day. I'll type all day too. I can type like 100 words per minute. So I think I type something like 95 words per minute. I'm like right under 100. So if y'all leave me any comments, I will get to them as fast as I can and blast you out a response as quick as I can. Okay. So on to the deck breakdown. All of these squares you can see in green. I'm sorry these colors aren't like more contrasting, but the green cards are pretty much staple cards right now. There's really no way around them. Borsalino, you could say, can go down to 3. I've seen decks run as low as 3, maybe 2. I don't know, but I would not go under 3. But if you want to go up a Sabo, I would actually probably go down 1 Kuzan and 1 Borsalino to go up 2 Sabos, because I don't think I'd go up more than 2 Sabos personally. But anyway, all right, let me get through it real quick. So the cards that are completely staple are in green, and again, this is in my personal opinion. But the blue cards, these are very much player option cards. These are very much player preference cards. Like, okay, if I don't really like Manchuri, I'll just take these out for 2 more 2K counters. You know what I mean? Like, you can just do that. Or like, oh, okay, I don't really care for these Kuzans. Well, let's just throw in some Sabos then, right? With Hina, I'm sure there's an option there. Maybe even, I even thought about like maybe running it like a blocker. Because like, do you know how crazy it would be to like put in like, what's their name? The 3-cost... It's the 3-cost 1K, the trigger blockers. Boa Hancock and what's the Nefeltari Vivi. Those trigger blockers. I wouldn't be surprised if those could make a spot in here and just like absolutely win a game for you randomly. Maybe not, but I'm just saying it'd be kind of interesting to mess with there. They're not searchable though, so that does factor in. It's something you do have to consider if you're making adjustments to the deck. But I think all of these blue cards here, it's just 10 of them. The 2 Kaidos, the 4 Kuzans, the blue Hinas, and the 2 Manchuri. I think those can go up and down. Like, for example, I think you can go down 1 Kaido and go, like, up 1 Borsalino. Or go down, you know, a Kuzan and go up 1... For each 1 Kuzan you go down, you can probably go up 1 Sabo, if that makes sense. The Hinas... I know a lot of people don't like this card, but I really do. But if I were to go down on some, maybe just grab 2K counters to put in their place. I don't know. And if y'all got any other ideas, put it down in the comment section below. Even Sanji's Pilaf probably would not be that crazy. Okay. Everything else is pretty straightforward. Just to show some options I've seen. Like I said, Sabo's in the mix. Dracula Mihawk is another card I've seen at the top end. Where, like, you know, you maybe run 2 Borsalinos, take out 1 Kuzan, and throw in 1 Mihawk. Like, that is another option I've seen. You do lose a Navy target if you do that. So, I mean, another possibility maybe is you go down 1 Manchuri and go up 1, what's his name? Mihawk. So, yeah, there are some options there. And one more thing. OP06 is right around the corner. I think it's a little over a month away for us over here in the West. At least at the time we're recording this video. So, we're looking at, like, you know, Gecko Moria is going to be making his way in here soon, right? So it will probably just take the place of Kaido in my deck. I'll do an entire video of transitioning your OP0, you know, 5 Sakazuki into OP06 if that even becomes a relevant topic, because I think only a few cards are going to change, right? Like, you're going to drop a few, you're going to drop some Kaidos, you're probably going to drop the Kuzans because you're going to get a more reliable searcher in the new one called Tashigi. I'll save it for another time. But things are going to move when we get to OP06. Things are going to move around. One more thing I want to talk about, one more option card, are the Sanji's Pilaf and the other 2K counters. Bartolomeo, I would consider the best extra 2K counter to have if you're going to go up a 2K counter. There are 3 other options, one being Virgo. He's Navy searchable. The other 2 are the Dressrosa, I didn't put on the screen. It's One-Legged Toy Soldier and the 4-cost CP Khalifa It's like it's a 4-cost 4K that's a 2K counter, and when it comes into play, if you on play it, it's a draw 2, trash 2, like Sabo, and it also has -2 cost for the turn. So that one has good utility. It'll come down to your preference. I think most people go with the Bartolomeo because it's an extra blocker. And if you're going to go Bartolomeo, then you should go Sabo, because then you can combo those together to make it unKOable, however you say that, for one turn. Okay, and that's about it, guys, for the list. Like I said, if you guys got any questions or comments, please don't hesitate to put them down in the comment section below. For those wondering, like I said, I'm sure everybody's disappointed they saw me running a blue-black Sakazuki deck. Don't worry, I've not given up on Black Yellow Linlin. I've not given up on any of the other decks I play and that I've talked about on the channel. I enjoy playing these decks that are... I enjoy playing the decks that are way underrepresented, because the reason they are, let's just be honest, is because they don't quite have as much horsepower as a deck like this does. This one has a little more legs than it. NL, Purple Luffy, those decks have a little more firepower, right? So if you want to win with something that's not in the meta, it's by nature, by definition, it will be harder to do, and therefore it's more challenging. And I enjoy doing that. I like to defy the meta kind of thing. I like to be, not necessarily like contrarian or anything, but I think y'all know what I mean. I do enjoy the challenge. So don't worry, I'm not giving up on Black Yellow Linlin. It's nothing like that. But every now and then it is good to, go back to my roots in this case, right? Going back to the black navy stuff with a little splash of blue. It's nice to get back to my roots here and play a deck and do well with it, at a local level. So sometimes it is nice to do that. If you're beating your head against the wall, so to speak, and you just can't get a deck to work, like say you're running like red-yellow, Bello Betty or something, or say you're running like purple-green Dofi, or whatever. You're running a deck that you wish you could make it work. You keep getting up in the top, top 4. You keep topping tournaments, but you can't get first place. Maybe take a break, right? Step back, try one of these decks out that is like meta, and just have fun for the night. And that's exactly what I did last night, and it was nice. What else? I was gonna say one other thing. Shoot, I can't remember. Oh well, whatever the case is, hope you guys enjoyed. I'm like I said, you won't see me play meta decks very often, but it's nice when these are the results, right? It is nice when you can come out and win with them like this. But you won't see me play meta too often. Gecko Moria might be a slight exception because it just looks like so much fun. Remember, that's how I was with Rebecca. Here I was scared about blue-black Rebecca being like the strongest deck in the US, or like in the West. And then it just wasn't, right? Like I was scared to play. It's like, oh, I don't want to play what's meta. And it ended up not being. Gecko Moria is kind of that same situation where, like, in the East, it didn't really pop off. Even though it was considered a top-end meta deck, it really didn't pop off. So I probably will be putting some good amount of time into Gecko Moria, but you guys know me. Of course, I got to keep trying to make Black Yellow Linlin work. That's what I was going to say, by the way. I was going to say, I've gotten, like, in the top 4 with Black Yellow Linlin probably 4 or 5 times since OP0, from OP03 onward. I play in a tournament. I try to play in a tournament every week, but it's usually every other week for me, or every 2 weeks, just because of how busy life is. And guys, like, it hasn't been hard for me to get in the top 4 with Black Yellow Linlin. It's a matter of getting first place, because that's when you get funneled into the best players, like the sweatiest players, so to speak, right? And bridging that gap from second to first place, that is a hard thing to do. You guys know what I mean, especially if your locals is as sweaty as mine is. And that's no disrespect to my locals players. I need them to stay that good, stay that sweaty, so I can get better and better and better, right? Our iron sharpens iron. All right, guys, that's enough. I'm done rambling. If you guys got any questions, like I said, please don't hesitate to ask in the comment section below. And yeah, that's it, guys. I'm gonna leave it on this screen right here. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you have not already. And until next time, peace.